So good afternoon, good morning, and good evening, depending upon your time zone. You have joined us today onto the amazing, I would say, webinar for all of you guys, for me as well, because I am going to learn from all of you. Today we will be covering a important and a new aspect, like many of you are unaware about cloud computing, a tool for internet. I mentioned the subtitle as a tool for internet because cloud computing is completely related to the internet and the bandwidth you are using daily, right? The 4G and the 5G upcoming and the upcoming bandwidth, upcoming generation that we will be receiving. So moving on, what will be the different topics we will be covering? So today we will be covering what is cloud computing in general, cloud computing service models, types of cloud computing, virtualization concept, because in lockdown period, all industries like if you take Google, Facebook, Twitter, any company if you take, Infosys, TCS, any company, they are depending upon virtualization in today's world. So cloud computing is one of the trending topic right now because all industries are using it. Applications of cloud computing, we will be seeing like top 5 or 10 cases which I have mentioned in the PPT. So you will get to know about the idea like how cloud computing is being implemented in the society for the betterment of humanity, as well as then what's next, how to get started with it, and after cloud computing, what are the different domains you can explore. And in the last, we will connect to discuss queries and comments. So what is cloud computing? So you can see the diagram like I have mentioned, like in the center you can see that it's a cloud and there are Android application, tablet and laptop is connected. So what that means? It means that the data which is in the cloud, not the actual cloud where we get the rain. No, the actual cloud means here the cloud means the server, the data center server, or your laptop, or maybe kind of 1 lakh rupees or 2 lakh plus server kind of thing. It's just a simple like of operating system which we use daily. Okay. So it's like data is synchronized among different devices connected. So that's the basic, I would say the foundational pillar and knowing about the cloud computing. So what are the different benefits of using cloud computing? There's some more computing, obviously. Now, if I say you want to compute a machine learning model, you want to predict for weather, no? If I say Google API is using weather API. So how that is happening, right? You are actually analyzing the data onto the cloud, onto the internet, right? So cloud computing gives you the first important parameter, first benefit. It provides you more computing, fast computing, depends upon your bandwidth and the storage you are buying from the cloud server. Okay. Don't worry if you are getting like the word server, cloud server out of your mind. Don't worry. We will be covering in a very detailed way in the upcoming slides. Just listen me. Just check out the slides properly. Be attentive here so that you will get more knowledge and your more queries, obviously. So the second one is more storage. Okay. How many of you use Google Drive? Can I see yes, no in the chat window? Okay, perfect. Everyone is using Google Drive. So it's advertisement program for Google Drive, but it's okay. Okay, fine. So what you are able to find there, right? You are uploading the files, you are uploading and backing up your WhatsApp chat, your photos and all those things in a particular server, in a particular space which Google provided you with your email ID. It's 15 GB, right? 15 GB of space. And if you are an IEEE member, voila, you have 15 GB extra because IEEE members get 30 GB on Google Drive. So it's like a cloud computing is the base model. Pay what you want to use. Pay as you go. Okay. If you want to use 1 GB more, if you want to get more TB data, terabyte of data, or uh, gigabyte of data, you just spend money and you can get the space on your Google Drive, right? How many of you have, you must have seen that advertisement in the Google Drive app. Do you want to buy more storage? So there's a button, buy storage. So that's about cloud computing advantage. It has a very scalable kind of model, right? If I say Pranav is gonna have a recording of this session on Google Drive, right? And the space in Pranav's drive is kind of, I would say, 1 GB left, and the recording like is like 2 GB or 3 GB. Now he needs more 2 GB to get it more uploaded. The recording should be uploaded on the drive for make it more comfortable and smooth. So what he will do? He has a two alternative. He will make a new email ID with 15 GB new storage. Okay, that's kind of an alternative. The second alternative, which is buy more storage. So if Pranav is like having a lot of money, so he can spend a lot of things onto the Google Drive and he can buy a lot of things. And it's very cheap. Okay, Google Drive, OneDrive, and if you want to buy a storage, it's like I would say, how much? 50 rupees, 100 rupees, or 200 rupees for getting a MB or gigabyte of data. I don't know what's the plan exactly, but yeah, it's around of that cost. So yeah, cloud computing has the advantage of more storage. The third benefit, application, chat application, perfect. Zomato, oh my goodness, someone like is a foodie type here. Ayush, you are foodie, okay? We got to know CIA and CD, okay? I get that's more into development side, DevOps side. Perfect. Reducing physical storage, okay? Yes. YouTube, Twitch. I haven't heard about Twitch before, but yeah, it's nice to know. I will find it out more. Flipkart, PayPal, IoT application, Netflix. Yeah, right. So we are actually like my major project. If I tell you, my minor project title was Future of Technology, Roti, Kapda, Makan, and Network. So with that, network is also an important part of our life now. We are actually very close to network, right? So there are a lot of application which we use daily. The last advantage as well as the disadvantage of cloud computing is security. Okay, I will tell you why security is considered as an advantage as well as disadvantage of cloud computing. Now if I say you have the Google Drive, right? You have a two model here. You have a public visibility on your file, you have a private visibility of your file. Do you want to share among the public? Anyone with the link can see the file. And the second option is I will add some email ID, only these people can see from the link, right? And the other option is read write operation. If any public from the public can edit the file document, that's kind of low security, no? You are breaching your data privacy. If I say Google Form, today in this event you have filled up a registration form. How the data is being entertained, right? That depends upon the organizer. I'm not saying they're gonna use and sell out your data to any other China company or kind of thing. No, they're gonna secure it, right? They will be securing this data, your database, your phone number, your email ID, what you have registered for the upcoming events if you are interested to participate, right? So these kind of things for the faster communication. So this is the thing. Wherever you will see the cloud computing has high security, it will have the similar kind of model with low security as well. Okay, so these are the limitation as well as the advantages of cloud computing. Moving on, and let's deep get into more into the theoretical part. I am sure I won't be going into kind of a formal lecture, but I will be taking some examples which you are daily using, and you will be getting to know about this thing very perfectly. Okay, I will try my best to make you understand about these things, because these are the basic things whenever you get into CCNA certification or cloud computing certification or any class in your academics as well, if you have a cloud computing subject. So these are the basic things to know more. So the first thing, which is what are the different service model in cloud computing? So service model is like kind of infrastructure. What are the different structure, the framework we are using? What are the different application kind of things we are using in cloud computing? So there are kind of three service model mainly, but there are a lot of things like body as a service. I would say medical as a service. A lot of upcoming researchers are doing it. So the first one is software as a service. Now, if you see the application like Google Drive, OneDrive, PayPal, Flipkart, Netflix, any application which is using internet, these all lies on software as a service. That's on the top level, which is in hands on you, which is in the hands of the users, right? So you are interacting with the front end, not the back end activities. You don't know if I click on the search bar of Amazon and if I search MacBook Pro or any product, so how I will get those research, how I will get those search results, that you don't know. You are an illiterate about the backend stuff. So that's on the software as a service. Users are not aware about the backend things. They are only entertaining with the functionalities, what they want to buy or purchase something. The second is platform as a service. Okay, now if I say, okay, let's say an example, Naveen is going to host a business of his own. Okay, let's say an example, Naveen is in final year and he is enthusiastic about entrepreneurship. And Naveen, what do you say? Like if you want to start your own business, which product or which business you will start?
Mobile phone.
Mobile phone, it's like Android development, or you're gonna sell the mobile phones on your platform?
I'm gonna sell the mobile phone my platform.
Perfect. Okay, thank you, Naveen. So Naveen is saying like he will have a business where he can sell out the mobile phones onto the online store or on a website, right? Now Naveen wants that Naveen has a kind of plan accordingly. Okay, he is gonna build this company, and the first plan he has a rough idea. Okay, I will have such kind of Flipkart or Amazon model. I will sell out the mobiles and I will list there. The second aspect, where he gonna host it, right? Because he will make a website on his own. So let me give you an idea, Naveen. So how we can go ahead? Platform as a service is one of the service model where we work on that model. How we can make this application, software as a service model, available to all the people across the globe. Okay. If I am building an Android application, what's the platform we can spread out our application? Google Play Store, right? Apple Play Store, Apple App Store. So these are the platforms which Apple and Google are providing to spread out the word about your application, about your Android or iOS application. Similarly goes with the website. Okay. So in the website, we have the hosting services. We have different servers. We have different companies who are working on hosting our website and application. Like you see Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, okay, Microsoft Azure platforms, IBM, IBM Cloud. So these are the cloud services you can Google, you can explore. These all platform which gives you a platform to host your business, host your application to the world. It comes under platform as a service. It's more specific to the developers who are building their applications and all those things. The last most important part, because if I say you want to host something, you want to host a website, okay, you have HTML files ready with you, okay, you have your Android development files like Java files or Kotlin files ready with you. What is the platform? What is the physical platform you're gonna host? Now the main concept of cloud computing comes. The system, if I say my laptop is here, okay, now I will host one, you can say, application. I will upload one application. I will convert my laptop into a server by using some of the third party application like BAM server, Jam server. Okay, these are the application. You can Google it. Let me just drop into the chat window so that you can explore afterwards, and you can see how you can make your own laptop as a and if you are using Linux, you can use LAMP server. Okay, these are the server application. These are the software for your Mac OS, for your Windows, for your Linux, which you can install and you can make your laptop as a server. If someone is in the same network, if I say my laptop is a server right now, I am hosting my website onto this. It's a home automation website so that my all family members can access that application. But how? I have a router. I have a Wi-Fi router at my home, right? It is the centralized modem. It's a centralized modem where I am getting the connection. Now all the devices in my home is connected to that router. Okay. If I am hosting something on my router onto the server or a laptop, my laptop is connected to my router. Indirectly, my laptop is acting as a server for my home. Right. I will share you the live demo as well after the slides. You will able to see in a very live simulation how these things work, and you will get a basic idea. Obviously, in 1 hour, I can't make you certified in CCN or Microsoft Cloud, but yeah, I can give you an overview so that you can explore and research at your end. So infrastructure as a service includes the physical application, physical components like router, server, switch. All these terms comes in computer networking. So for starting into cloud computing, you're going to have the basic knowledge of networking. Okay. Now it comes to the main part. Now how you going to deploy it? Now you go to the framework. Like I will be using software as a service for my application hosting. I will be using platform as a service. Which platform? AWS, Azure, which one? So that you got clear. Infrastructure as a service, you got to know that, yeah, Apple or Google, if I host on their platform, they will provide me the infrastructure automatically. Okay. Because they will be hosting your application on their own data center rather than moving on to your own servers or something. Okay. You got an idea. Now let's move on to the cloud types. What are the different cloud computing, I would say, you can say deployment models. Okay. Now, let's say an example, you are in a college. Okay. You are in your college. Unfortunately, lockdown is going on. It's fine. Just imagine you were in your college and you were able to use one application, attendance marking application or feedback sharing application into your college campus only. Okay. And no one outside your college, like if any member or any non-student of your college is going to access that application, he or she can't access because he or she is not the student of your college. So this type of model comes under private cloud or maybe community cloud. Okay. So if you are hosting an application to a dedicated group of audience, dedicated group of users in a very close network, it becomes private cloud. Okay. Now, public cloud. What do you mean by public cloud? Can anyone give me an example of public cloud in the chat window? An example. It's a typically massive amounts of available space, which transfer into a easy scalability and recommended for software development and collaborative. Drive. Okay. Yeah, Drive has a both model. No, it has a private model as well as public model. You can share your files or you cannot share. Like you can share to the public or you cannot share to the public. Right. It's a hybrid model. It consists of private plus public. Paste bin. Oh, that's a new thing. I'm getting learn new things today onto the chat window. That's great. Thank you so much, Shivanshu. People will get to know. Yeah, GitHub, right? GitHub is kind of an open source where you will get a lot of codings and lot of stuff already available on the public. IBM Blue Cloud, yeah. AWS, Microsoft Azure, yeah. These are the platform as a service. But I am saying at the user level, what are the different public clouds we are using, right? If I say, let's take an example, public cloud. The data which is available publicly. Facebook. Yeah, Facebook is also one of the public cloud. YouTube is also one of the wonderful example. Gmail, I can't say, Naveen, Gmail is kind of a public. It's specific to private, no? It's your own email ID. I cannot use your Gmail ID if you don't give me the password and other things. That's private to you. So yeah, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, these are the things. Pastebin is where you can anonymously paste code, text extra, and share it with the link. Yeah, I guess that's one of the wonderful example. Pastebin is one of the wonderful model of public cloud because you can share the codes and the development which you have done globally without any like access to the password or buying something. Kaggle is also one of the public cloud where you can get lot of data set for free publicly. You don't need to pay something or something. So if any data is available onto the public website or application, it's a public cloud, right? You're getting the data. Okay. If you know, CodeLabs is one of the application of Google. So CodeLabs is a platform on your Gmail ID where you can run some Python scripts and Python notebooks. So that's also public, no? You can share that file, but it indirectly saves you in a drive and then you have the authority if you want to make it public or private. Yeah, Tinker Hub is also one of the things. Wonderful. Thank you so much, guys, for such interactive. Yeah, Git. Yeah, obviously, someone has covered GitHub. So yeah, Git and GitHub are the same sub entities. So yeah, thank you so much, Varun. So yeah, I hope you are clear with public, private. Now it comes to the hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud is combines the public and the private to allow the two platform to interact simultaneously. If I say that's one example I gave you, right? The WhatsApp. Let's take an example of WhatsApp. Okay, you have two models there. One is you put your status for the public view, right? That's a public cloud. The second, you put the data into a particular group. That's a community cloud because you have a bundle of people in a group. Other person who are not in the group, they can't get that message. We can't say it's a private cloud because the data is also shared among others. You can forward it. It's a community cloud, right? We have a bundle of different people, different organizations coming together into one group. Okay. And hybrid is kind of the combination of it. If you do the public visibility on status, if you do the private messages to a personal chat or a group, so yeah, it's kind of a hybrid model. Okay, now let's move on to the important part, and I will be throwing some detailed architecture. Try to understand. If you have any queries, let me know. Okay, so let's take an example of the same model. This laptop, my laptop is a server for my home. My Android phone, like say 5 Android phones I do have, and one laptop more I do have, and they are connected to my same Wi-Fi network to which my server is connected. Okay, so what is my laptop is? It's a hardware, right? Now you can see the architecture, which I have a very general architecture. The hardware is like the application, the router, the switches, the firewalls, all the things. What is making the internet visible, the data to be shared among different software, different devices, that comes under hardware layer. The second comes host, operating system, or the bootstrap. Okay, now my laptop is a server now. I have hosted my application. Okay, I have hosted my website. What's the operating system I am using on my laptop? It can be Windows 10, it can be Windows, Linux, or Mac, right? So these are the operating systems. The second layer comes up, operating system. Okay, that's the main server. I'm talking about server. I didn't went to virtualization, not yet. So hardware, uh, above the hardware, we have the operating system, because through operating system, you can connect, you can act on something, right? This is the front end where you have all the application deployed, maybe Microsoft Word, Office, or whatever you are using. Next comes hypervisor. Now, if you are using the latest version of Windows 10, if you are using Windows, you will able to see there's an, if you go into the program and features, or you Google it, hypervisors Windows 10, you will get a default option to activate it. In Windows, Microsoft has added one option, hypervisor. So you can make virtual machines on your own without installing VMware or VirtualBox. Okay. So hypervisor can be called as a software plus hardware. Okay. If I say I want to host the machine, I want to, if it's a Windows, right? It's a window. Are you all clear about virtual machine? Virtual machine is kind of a cloud-based operating system. Right now, I am sitting in my home and I am working for my company. I am using my client desktop from my laptop, from my personal laptop. Okay. So it's a virtualization. I am able to connect my office desktop from home. How? Through internet, through the virtual private network. I am connected to my VPN. And that's another concept. But try to understand what I'm trying to say about virtual machine. So hypervisor is a software or a hardware depending upon the requirements, the application you are going to deploy. Okay, to deploy your virtual machine. If I say on the laptop I do have Windows 10. Over to the Windows 10, I want to install 3 operating system more, right? Linux, Mac, Windows. These are the virtual machine. These are not directly connected to my hardware of laptop. These are connected to my operating system, my host operating system. The application which are on my Windows 10, these can be accessed to virtual machine and vice versa. Okay. So hypervisor gives you the platform, gives you the software or the hardware platform where you can host your virtual machine. And in the above that, you have the virtual machine. These are the different virtual operating system. Okay, so what are the different application? We have already talked about a lot of application. So let's take in a very general view. So yeah, okay. Thank you, Meghna. Yeah. So we have virtual desktop. This is one of the application which all the universities as well as industries are using. Right now, the TCS people, Wipro people, Twitter, Facebook, Google, any company you take, they are not going into their offices. Never. They all are doing work from home, and they are not facing any problem. I have been in work from home from the last 1 year, 10 months. Like not the 10 months, yeah, 1 year, 3 months, yeah, I guess, yeah. Last March it was lockdown. So 1 year, 3 months. You can see how the flexibility of providing cloud computing domain into the society can change the whole industry, right? So virtual desktop is one of the important thing. There you can see, like on the cloud, you can see the Windows Server, Windows 10 plus Office 365. These are the virtual machine hosted on a server, and you can access through all your different devices wherever you are across the globe. Right now, my virtual desktop, my Office desktop is actually hosted on Hong Kong server. Okay. And from Hong Kong, I am able to access in Sonipat, Haryana. Now you can see the power of cloud computing, Anywhere across the globe, you can access your data, you can compute, you can process just using cloud computing. The second application, security solution. As I mentioned, that's one of the limitation as well as advantages. So there are a lot of research going on, lot of opportunities for you guys to explore the security. If you are interested in security, go ahead, check out the papers, check out the research going on in different companies about security in cloud computing. The third one, retail advertising, we always use. Zomato, Uber, Amazon, Flipkart, Netflix, YouTube, and all those thousands of applications are there on Play Store, and different are provided by. So retail advertising is one of the wonderful application of cloud computing. Video conferencing. Yeah. Today we are on the video call, no? We are able to connect due to cloud computing. If cloud computing was not a coin word, was not a technology, maybe today I was not there in Bangalore. So that's why I am hosting, like I am able to connect with Bangalore guys here on the call due to the help of cloud computing. Next, it comes to the smart speakers. Now, if you use Google Assistant, you use Google Home, Alexa, Siri in your Apple phone. So yeah, that's also one of the cloud computing examples. Now they have come to another point that you can download whole your library or dictionary where you can talk to your Google Assistant or Siri or Cortana offline. That's an advancement in cloud computing model. I will be letting you know what's next about cloud computing. So you will get to know about that model as well. So these are the applications. And there are a lot of other applications which you can thought of and which you can work and make projects out of it. Perfect. So now you all get to know about cloud computing. You get to learn about theoretical models, service deployment models, how to get started. That's the question to all of you right now. How we can build our own career, how we can build our own profile into cloud computing domain. So these are the best companies and best, I would say, learning courses they provide. The best one, which I should say, Cisco Networking Academy. You can visit Cisco Networking Academy, just Google it. You will find it and just sign in from your Google email ID and you will get self-paced courses. Wonderful, wonderful courses on cloud computing. Okay, it's for free. Cisco is providing all the basic knowledge about cloud computing for free. Okay. edX is there. Cloud Academy is there. And Simple Learn is also one of the organization. Cisco Packet Tracer, I will be giving you the live demo now after this slide. It's the simulation software which Cisco employees use before investing into the hardware. Now, if I say Naveen want to host a mobile shopping selling website, right? Now he want to know about the infrastructure. What are the different router? What are the different servers I should establish in my home? If you know about one application which is I forgot the name, Sarara app. Are you aware about it? Sarara app. It was an application which was started by Saudi Arabia or kind of from that area, and that guy started this application in his home. Okay, from one laptop or no, from one MacBook, and the concept of that application was like you can message anyone, anyone in your contact list and anyone with your Sarara ID, email ID, without telling your name. So it's like sending an anonymous message to anyone what you want to like. And you know, in 1 month, the application crashed because there was lot of traffic. Because people are so self-motivated to speak some positive, negative words to different people without telling their names, right? So that was a kind of hit to them. So then they came to know, oh, our infrastructure didn't support us. So don't go with Sarah application kind of things. Be smart and use Cisco Packet Tracer or simulation software where you can better to know about your infrastructure before bringing up your business model or your business application in the market. Then it comes Coursera, Udemy, Udacity. You are well aware about this educational learning website. Okay. And YouTube, you are already aware. So YouTube, there are a lot of playlists and there are a lot of certification courses for free. You can explore and you can work on cloud computing. Okay. Now, I hope everyone is clear about cloud computing. And let's see what's the next step. After cloud computing, what's the next step? Okay, what are the different advancements in cloud computing? So as a diagram, you can see this domain is called as edge computing. That's a very trending domain. Recently, because of 5G and IoT models came into the market. So people are working on edge computing. In India, we don't have many research going on. A lot of companies outside India are working on this. And my research domain is also edge computing. So what is actually edge computing is? Okay. Let's take in a scenario. It will limit that latency issue. Now, if I say you are uploading 5 GB of recording or video recording into your drive, it depends upon your bandwidth, no? How much time it will take to upload and download, right? Because you are using internet. Edge computing is the concept where you don't use internet, right? In cloud computing, you need to process, you need to predict, you need to analyze the data onto cloud using internet. Edge computing brings you the, I would say, advantage not to go into the cloud. Just process all data, analyze all data locally near the application. Now you see the tablet in the diagram, right? And you can see the microprocessor and the tablet in the first car. Okay. If I highlight from the pointer, so this is one of the car and this is another car. Okay. This is a kind of accident is going on here in the front after 1 kilometer. And this is one of the tower in between, which you can say like a server or kind of an edge node, which we say in edge computing. Now in this car, we have a tablet, we have a smartphone, and that smartphone is connected to a microprocessor. Let's take an example. I guess I do have that. Now see this thing. The electronics guys, electrical guys, this is for you. Okay, if you are interested into IoT and if you are not aware about cloud computing at all from the session I had given so far, this is for you guys. Okay, are you aware about this?
Oh, that's a Raspberry Pi.
That's a Raspberry Pi, right?
It's like a Raspberry
So
Pi
it's a
3.
Raspberry Pi 3 plus model, B model, 3 plus B model. So what this Raspberry Pi is actually does, Raspberry Pi is called as a mini computer. Why? You are not using any internet in this. You have an input output pin, right? These are the input output pins you can see, okay? And you can see the USB, different USB, and you can see the LAN network also, okay? And if I rotate it here, you can see the headphone, you can see the HDMI, you can see the charging port from where the Raspberry Pi is charged, and you can see a plug in here. It's a memory card, okay? It's a memory card. It's kind of a storage. You can say can be kind of RAM, okay? RAM for a computer. And if I say you, yeah, if you see this particular this white clip, okay? This is kind of a external interface for display, and we do have the same for camera as well. If you want to connect a webcam, so this is kind of edge node. This is a microprocessor. I hope you all are clear about the concept of microcontroller and microprocessor. Can anyone please tell me the difference between it? The electronics guys. Meghna, will you able to explain about microcontroller and microprocessor?
So microcontrollers are less powerful than microprocessors. An example of microcontroller would be the Arduino system. So compared to Raspberry Pi is a microprocessor. It may have different storage units and everything. And the microcontroller has integrated, storage and stuff. And it is generally cheaper than a microprocessor. So it's a small scale computing, processing, and everything.
What's the main difference between microcontroller and microprocessor? Can you please tell us?
I'm not sure about the architecture and stuff, but
no, just the main difference, just a layman language difference.
Microprocessors are like your normal computers, and microcontroller are generally IoT type devices which are low powered and very basic instructions and stuff they do.
Okay. Thank you, Shivanshu, for your remarks. Anyone would like to highlight the main difference? I'm looking for one sentence. I am looking for one statement which will actually synchronize the edge computing concept with it. Can anyone please tell me one point? What is the main difference between controller and processor?
If I have to take a guess, I'm assuming that a processor is just the processor and everything else you need to connect externally. And the controller has everything.
The same thing, no? Controller also we do the same thing. We connect
but it's all, how do I say this? It's all built in together in the same board.
Oh, are you talking about Raspberry Pi as a controller?
Raspberry Pi as a controller, I think for an example for controller, I would give like an ESP32 or something like that.
Okay, that's a module. Yeah, that's a module. Yeah, that's a controller as well because we are controlling something from it. Okay, perfect. Let me tell you the main difference what I was looking for. Microcontroller doesn't have operating system. Microprocessor has an operating system. Okay, you don't have a UI there. You have the UI here. You have the CMD portal. You have the CMD and all those applications which you do have normally in your Windows, Linux or Mac OS. Raspberry Pi is a Raspbian Linux-based platform. Okay, and the second main difference is microcontroller doesn't do the analytics, doesn't do the prediction or analysis of data. Microprocessor does, right? So now, if you connect the dots of cloud computing and edge computing, try to understand. Cloud computing is kind of an online microprocessor. You are doing the analysis of data onto cloud using internet. Microprocessor is not using internet. What a wonderful, I would say, bundle of opportunity we do have, right? In the car, if you see, this is a microprocessor. This is not connected to an internet. Microcontroller has cheap CPU, IO, and memory in chip. Okay, that's also one of the thing. But then why this memory card is required in Raspberry Pi? This is also a storage, no? So microprocessor does also have a memory, and both are same into the architecture, but the difference goes with the interfaces, what you are trying to do, what are the different applications you can do with microprocessor rather than in controller. So as I was mentioning, you see the car, this car is having a controller connected to a smartphone. The data is being shared offline to this particular tower. This tower is not like that. If you use SIM, do your SIM use internet for the connection? No, right? You are calling without internet. That SIM has the capability to connect to nearby telecommunication server or telecommunication tower, which hand over your connection to another state or another country where you are trying to call, right? Similarly, edge computing works in a very limited space and it analyzes the data offline. No need to wait for your internet to come back, or it's a very latency free model. So that's how. So if someone is actually getting an accident in the beginning, so this particular signal can be transferred to the nearby tower without using internet, and this can be broadcasted to different vehicles behind it. So that particular person can slow down or can change the path. In Google Map, what we do, when we are getting traffic ahead, we are able to see the red lines on the Google Map, but that's on internet, no? If we can change the same model offline, that will become edge computing model. Okay. So that's the concept of edge computing. Okay, before ending the session, we have 5 minutes to go.
Also,
Just
I
let
had
me
a
know.
doubt.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So I don't know if I understood this properly, or is the only difference between cloud computing and edge computing that instead of having one single server serving something, we'll have localized edge nodes. That's it.
Yes, yes. Once you
So
have you have the software, no? You have the devices. Above the devices, you have the edge node, the Raspberry Pi, Arduino or something. And above that, you have the cloud layer.
okay.
In cloud computing, this is not there. You are connecting application directly to the cloud. Right? You are connecting to the Google Drive directly. If you make the Google Drive files offline, now you can access it offline and you can analyze the data offline. So this is edge
Okay.
computing. Yeah, what is this? Okay, CDN. Okay, consider edge computing. That's a good question. I guess no. CDN is actually basically on the cloud itself. Edge computing is kind of offline only. We work on sensors and all the IoT stuff, you know, right? All the stuff that is connected to the cloud layer. In IoT specifically, we work on the offline, but that is not connected to the cloud. Here we are doing the cloud as well. We have a 3-layer architecture. Okay. So in that way, you can go ahead. Let me just enter the password. Yeah, please, the one who has mentioned about the CDN question, feel free to tell me about, 1 second. Let that guy know about CDN. You can place the definition of CDN into the chat window. I would also able to learn about it. Okay, let me see in the chat window. There are a lot of replies. I am from information security branch. I guess IS means that. I am a bit confused about whether to continue with development or coding or to go with the hardware too. Go with both. Go with the coding first and then try to understand the hardware. I am from core CSC branch, you know. How may I know about Arduino and microprocessor stuff? Because when I got into my 3rd year, I got to know about this edge computing, because I did research assistantship with one of the professor under her. And I got to know that, yeah, all the stuff of IoT, Android application, what I am doing so far, it's actually connecting with hardware completely. Okay. I was so much motivated to work completely, like how hardware can handle the software and how software can handle the hardware. So I was very much enthusiastic about that. So I would encourage you, Sohil, please go with both of the things. Please go with basic coding skills and then go with the hardware. So guys, this is a tool. This is a simulation software developed by Cisco. You can download it for free on your IEEE email ID or on your college email ID. Okay. Maybe on Gmail, I haven't tried. Maybe you can download it. No worries. So on the left hand side bottom, can you see there are a lot of lot of components? If I click on the first one, I can see routers. So there are different types of routers here. Are you able to see this arrow, right? Yeah, it's a bit clear, I guess. Yeah. So switches, you can see there are different types of switches here. There are different types of hubs. If you are aware about networking, go ahead and Google it. Okay. Try to understand about this concept. Because if you want to start your journey in cloud computing, you better know about networking. We have a different wireless devices, like we have router is there, one wireless router, home gateway, the router, Wi-Fi router which you use, cell tower, right? See, this is one of the cell tower. This is a Wi-Fi home gateway. This is a wireless router. Okay, this is also considered a home router specifically for home. For firewall, hope you are aware about firewall. Firewall protects you from the outside world internet. Okay, your network is kind of a private and it provides you to have limitation to some of the website which you don't access. Then it comes to the cloud, WAN, wide area network, so that you can spread out. Modem, I hope many of you have used that plug-in modem, no? It was under 2G scam, I don't know. I have been using MTS modem in my 6th class. So I do have that in my drawer right now as well. So this is one of the example of modem which connects different network together and gives you the capability of emphasizing or I would say amplifying your signal. Then it comes to the and devices. So you can see the PC. See, we do have laptop. We are modern. So we do have laptop also in Cisco Packet Tracer. We have VoIP, voice over IP network. We have voice over phone, which many industries use for call center. We have a smart TV. We have a wireless tablet. We have a smartphone. We have a lot of things. See, I just, one second, what happened? I guess the connection made automatically. One second. Yeah, right now, the router doesn't have a password. Okay. So that router is automatically connected to my smartphone, my smart tablet with respect to the cell tower. Now I can use cell tower to transmit the signal from the router, from smartphone and tablet to another devices across my city or across my society. Coming to the next part, let me just delete this. Okay. This is microcontroller. This is microprocessor. Okay. This is like Arduino. This is like Raspberry Pi, but you cannot actually access the operating system or some of those things. You must have CMD here, so you can access Windows type of applications. This is kind of a general IoT thing which you can make of yourself, whatever sensor you would like to. Don't worry, we have sensors also. We have actuators like all the sensor. If I say air cooler is there, alarm is there, smart alarm, ceiling sprinkle is there, right? We have heating element. We have LCD which you use in your Arduino. We have a smart motor, LED, right? We have a speaker and different kind of things. We have speaker as well. So we have sensors now. Okay. So we have different sensors, potentiometer, push button, rock switch, smoke sensor, sound sensor, and different type of things. Okay. Now let me take you to the example of edge computing as well as to the cloud computing. Okay. Let's see how it works. You have bundle of samples already in Cisco Packet Tracer, which you can use. I will take this IoT. Let me see if I can get that. Let me see if I can get it. PC, IoT, I guess in IoT I can get something. IoT home gateway. Okay. Let's go with the street data collector. Right. We have a smart lights going on in our society. Now, how that works actually. Okay. This is a kind of a one sample. We have an edge node here. Okay. Let it connect actually. So, one second, guys. Yeah, 1 second. Okay, now you are able to see that the smart lamps are connected to our routers, right? These smart lamps which are on our streets are connected to my router. Router can be there in the society main server or maybe the first home in the society kind of thing, like, and this router is connected to a server. I mentioned Raspberry Pi is a computer. So computer can be developed as a server. So that's why they have mentioned SBC server. Let's click on it and let's explore what are the different things we do have. See, we have a, yeah. Are you able to see, like, we do have USB cables, we have a Wi-Fi module here, we have a charging power bank here, right? We have a switch button, we have different digital pin D0, D1 to D5, A0 to A4, so analog. I guess electronic students are able to synchronize their academic based learning today. So Cisco Packet Tracer is a wonderful tool. Okay, let's move on. We have configuration. Now, what are the different IP addresses you would like to give to this particular server? Okay, and now you need to know about basic concepts of networking. There it works, like the cloud computing and that thing. Ishan, I guess better to concentrate on the knowledge I am sharing, because I strongly believe when you participate in any event, knowledge is more fruitful than a certificate. Okay, because industries are not looking for certificates of participation. But yeah, it's okay. Organizer can take care of that part. So these are the Bluetooth we do have. We have a Wi-Fi, and let's move on to the desktop. Now you can see we have a CMD here. We have a web browser here. We have traffic generator, email services we do have, right? We have Bluetooth, we have SSH client. And if you move on, the programming. I guess programming is not enabled for this particular server. Okay, but let me show you that programming thing. If I drag a controller, the Arduino, I hope many of you are aware about programming in Arduino. Yeah. So we do have a JavaScript and Python. Both are supported in Cisco Packet Tracer controller. If you double click and if you get into the main.js, see, we have similar kind of model which you use in Arduino. We have a setup loop, setup function, as well as a loop function. You can do the same Arduino recording here in the Cisco Packet Tracer without buying an Arduino. So you can better know about this simulation software a very nice way. Okay, now let me take you through the simulation, real simulation. Now you know that these are connected, no? These all are connected. Now if I transfer a packet from this street lamp to this particular server, it should be successful, right? My data should be shared because they all lie in one network. We are not using internet here. This is an edge computing model. Right click on the right bottom side. Okay, you will find simulation. Okay, and on the right hand side, if I play like before transferring the packet, I will select one packet and I will click on server and I will click on this street lamp 3. Okay, now if I select on play button, you will able to see how the data transmission is happening. Okay, I was there. I just transferred the packet from server to the street lamp 3. Now I will click play. Now you will see the real data transmission which happens between physical layer from one server to another server. Okay, let's play. Now the packet is transferring from the server to the router and router doesn't recognize. The first time router what does? Transfer the packets to all, because it wants to know from where the packet is being destination to. Now you see all are closed, but on street lamp 3 it was like loading, right? So street lamp 3 actually I would say acknowledge that this packet is for me. I can recognize this packet. Then that the packet is being given back to. This is not a packet. This is an acknowledgement. This is like hello street lamp 3, hello server. Now server has ticked yes, street lamp 3 packet is right. Now the server will transfer the actual packet data. Okay, it's already done. It's on the controller. It's like now the simulation going on. On to the right hand side, you can see it's successful, right? So in this way, you are able to see the packet transmission in a very beautiful way. Now, if I click on very fast way, if I click on server, if I click on this, you will find successful in the right bottom because these are connected. So let me just close it and get back to the PPT. So thank you everyone for listening me. I hope that was a wonderful and fruitful session for all of you guys. And you can connect me on my LinkedIn. I will share my LinkedIn profile in the chat window. And you can follow me, you can connect me, you can let me know if you have any doubts. And please, yeah, okay, Gautam, yeah, we will be taking questions soon. So that's my email ID and my LinkedIn profile. This is the recent book which I published in IEEE USA. Okay, and Let me just share you the link of that book. So the IEEE members can access it for free, but for non-IEEE members, it's $3. So I would like to request the organizer, and if they can download the book from IEEE USA, and they can shoot out to all the students, all the members on the call, so that they can better know about this. Because this book is for all of you guys. Because I know many of you are in final year and you are working on your research paper writing. This book will help you to refine your resume and will help you to understand about different projects and how to convert an idea to a product.
Yeah, I have a question. So nowadays, I'm seeing that FPGAs are gaining a lot of popularity. So all these big tech giants are investing a little bit more on FPGA development at the data center level. So like, where do you think FPGAs will fit in on the cloud? Like, can you elaborate on that?
Can you please let me know what the keyword which you have used?
FPGA, like field programmable gate arrays.
Field programming gate. Okay. Okay. As far as I can understand, I hope that data analytics is being done on the cloud. Is it so?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So see, I would say like the combination of any kind of thing, any kind of application, any kind of technology which you use on the internet, those all can convert into edge computing. And I don't foresee, and I cannot predict a very well future of cloud computing, because cloud computing is a one aspect. No, you are able to connect something wirelessly or using internet. But what's the future coming up? We are having 5G, we are coming IoT, we are coming smart home, smart cities. These all models are going to use IoT as a very base model. And all the analytics which is going to happen in your society, city, home will be happening offline. So I would insist and encourage all of you to explore cloud computing. And once you are interested about cloud computing, you can go ahead and explore about edge computing also. I hope, Ram Prakash, I hope I answered your query in a very, like I am unaware about that field specifically, but I hope I somewhat connect the dots there.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Fog computing is actually, you can say like fog computing and edge computing are the same thing, but industries are using a different perspective. Fog computing is near to the cloud, but it's offline. Like if I say the data analytics is done real time without internet, but the data, if you are analyzing, and afterwards you want to store some historical data analytics or some scripts, then you store into the cloud. Fog nodes are near to cloud, edge nodes are near to application layer. These are near to the users. So yeah, you can explore and Google it. That's the best solution. Go into Cisco website and explore about edge computing and fog computing. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, I'm guessing not. So yeah, I think we're gonna end this on a high note. Ramnik, thank you for coming and thank you for helping everyone understand what cloud computing is.
Thank you very much to IEEE NIE Computer Society chapter, as well as to the student branch for inviting me. It's a wonderful experience.